I'm taking this from the ninth of Av calculation, but it still rings true. 3 events on the same day is 1 and 35 times 35. Okay. But regarding Jewish history cycle, the odds of 12 events happening to the same people, the same country, over centuries on the same day is 1 chance in 15.318 billion times a billion times a billion. And so one prophetic teacher said 8 events is 1 chance in 863 zillion. So looking at those calculations, let's look at the 19th of April, knowing it begins 13 days of rebellion, child sacrifice, and fire for 13 days from April 19th to May 1st. So one thing that's happened, April 19th, 2001, and I'd love to be able to read to you exactly everything that happened because it was so incredible. But the first thing that happened was in 1985, the Covenant of the Lord and Arm of the Lord. It's called CSA. And the CSA developed from the Baptist congregation called Zarephath Horeb, which is found in 1 Kings 17 and 18 that have to do with the days of Elijah and the prophets of Baal. The community church, founded in 1971 in a small community of, you ready? Elijah. That was a small community in southern Missouri. Over time, Zarephath Horeb evolved into an extremist a paramilitary organization and was rechristened CSA, which is the Covenant, the Sword, and the Arm of the Lord. Operated in a large compound in northern Arkansas called The Farm. They were closely connected with KKK, the Ku Klux Klan, and very anti-Semitic. Beginning on the 19th of April, 1985, the FBI and ATF, led by FBI's hostage rescue team, positioned around 300 federal agents in Elijah. And so they pretended to be fishermen, and they took them. They were able to take them, but the amazing thing I want you to see is it was on April 19th that this happened. Now, on the April 19th, 1989, the explosion of the USS Iowa. It was 330 miles northeast of Puerto Rico on a training cruise. A fireball between 2,500 and 3,000 degrees and traveling at 2,000 feet per second with a pressure of 400 pounds force per square inch blew out the center of the gun's open breech. And several were killed. Let's see if I can find how many were killed. 47 crewmen were killed on that. But look at here, death by fire. Death by fire on April 19th. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. And then we have April 19th, 1993. This is the Waco siege, the Branch Davidian raid by FBI and ATF. Now, here's some of the headlines from that. The Waco Branch Davidian raid. This is a 51-day siege. It ended on April 19th, 1993. 76 deaths. Death by fire on April 19th. Are you seeing a similarity here? Civil unrest. April 19th, 1993, the Oklahoma City bombing. Let's see if I have a number of people that died in there. Children died in there. Remember, they absolutely are wanting children to die. It killed 168 people, including 15 children, injured more than 680, and destroyed 1/3 of the building. The blast destroyed and damaged 324 other buildings in a 16-block radius. There was a prophet from Texas in Oklahoma City at that time, and God had warned him what was going to happen, but he could not find unity in Oklahoma City. He said the churches were divided. He couldn't find people to gather together in unity and pray against that. And as a result, Timothy McVeigh and Terry Nichols killed 168 people, including 15 children. Then on April 16, 2007, we had the Virginia Tech massacre. And more civil unrest, we had April 16, 2013, Boston Marathon explosion, but his brother, 103 killed, death by fire, 107 injured, and his brother was found on April 19th in a boat in somebody's backyard. In April 18th of 2013, this was the fertilizer plant explosion in West Texas that was exactly 220 years after Waco Branch Davidian. In April 16th, 1947, port disaster. This is America's worst port disaster in history. Killed 581 people. I'm from Texas City. That's where I live. And it's much said about that. But it was like last year I realized, oh my goodness, that was around this time period of death by fire in the occult world. Then we have war cycles. In history, this is a cycle of battle and wars and terrors and civil unrest in the spring, especially around April 19th and 21st, and especially around the United States, Israel. And so let's look here. The start of a Revolutionary War was April 19th, 1775. Battle of San Jacinto, end of Texas Revolution, was April 19th to 21st, 1936. The start of a Mexican-American War was April 25th, 1846. The start of the Civil War was April 12th, 1861. The start of the Spanish-American War, April 26, 1898. And here the war cycle continued. The start of the Spanish-American War, April 21st, 1898. Remember what I said in the Bible in 2 Samuel? It was spring, time when the kings went to war and David stayed home. This is when Franklin Delano Roosevelt announced the U.S. will leave the gold standard that left us absolutely vulnerable. April 19th, 1933, the Bay of Pigs failure. April 17th through 19th, 1961, end of the Vietnam War, which is a good thing, was in April. Battle of Praying Mantis was April 18th, 1988. I'll love to go through each one of them, but you can go over last year and go into more in depth. But look at here. These, in 2,000 years, the Jews have had enemies and many, antagonists, but these three stand out. April 21st, 753 BC was the birth of Rome. And this was the birth of the Roman Empire under Romulus. April 20th, 571 AD was the birth of Muhammad and Islam. April 20th, 1889 was the birth of Hitler and the Nazis. Do you see a pattern happening here? So here's some unrest for the Jews, and I'm going to have to go through this really quick. The Great Arab Revolt, the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, the ascension of Gamal Abdel Nasser in Egypt, and Hamas Jerusalem bombing. Natural disasters, the volcano of Iceland, the Gulf oil spill, the worst oil spill in history. That was on April 20th, 2010. April 18th of 16, Houston hammered with a 500-year flood. Now, this is amazing. All these things happen. All these things happen on Friday. Not on Friday, but from April 19th or around that time to May 1st. This is 13. 13 is a number of rebellion. And this is 13 days that is in occult, demands witchcraft, it demands sacrifice by fire, and especially child sacrifice. These things aren't an accident. These are cycles. And when you get used to it, you can be like a weatherman and just kind of up your prayers. You know, people prepare for a hurricane. If the weatherman say a hurricane is coming, people prepare. Well, prepare for April 19th and pray for your country, pray for your state, pray for your county, pray for your family. This is a time that the occult and elite in our country and witches are out to kill, steal, and destroy, but not on our watch. Have a good day.